Today we're 100% speedrunning Red Ball 4, another classic Flash and mobile game. Now our speedrun starts when we click on the first level, and right away it's just the first level, so it's going to be a pretty simple one. What we're going to want to do is go over to the right and make sure we get every single one of these stars. That's how you actually 100% the game. So we'll grab our fourth one right there. You'll see in the top right, we now have fully 100% completed that level, and we can move on to level 2, starting with a jump. That way we can get some extra momentum into that jump. We can hit that guy because also to get 100%, you have to kill every enemy in each stage too. So after that, we'll just keep going to the right. We can move that thing over. That way we get the ramp. We also get the star, fully completing that level. Before the next level, they introduce this water. Now, you obviously don't want to go in water. Red Ball is allergic to that, so we can just jump over it. Also, now we can move this boulder over, and boulders are going to be a movable thing. As soon as we move it over to the left, we can then use it to gain up enough speed to go over to the right and make it over the small hill. After that, there's just a tiny one of those jumps where we can jump on that last guy and go back up there one more time to get some more speed. Finally grab that star. That's another level done. Now for level 4, it's going to introduce these carts, which for these guys, you have to move them over. It's a little bit weird because of how small their wheels are, so I made sure to go a tiny bit slower. That way we could actually catch it. Then we can jump on top of it. There's going to be this guy up at the top. We're going to have to make sure to take care of him. There's going to be this rope bridge, and we can jump through that. The physics are sometimes a little bit weird with it, but after that, we want to get this box down and use the box to actually push this boulder over because we need both of them. There will be this guy in the way who's just kind of annoying, but we can finally get rid of him. He'll actually die to the boulder, and then we can use the box to get on top of that cliff. So there's just a ton of really cool solutions that you have in this game, and we will be going through every single one of them, like this one where we have another boulder, and this time we'll just be slowly pushing this dude into the water. They're also allergic to water, so that will kill them, and we can do a big jump so we don't have to wait for that cart and go over there right away. Now for level 6, there's going to be this guy who has a helmet on, and that means instead of one jump, you have to do 2. So we'll take him out with the first jump, be able to get that star, and then use the second one. Then we have to wait for this plank to come down. Unfortunately, not much you can do about that. And then once it goes up, we can jump from there. We can see this box. We want to start pushing it and bring it all the way over to this cliff where we have another cool trick we want to do. So we're going to move this cart and time our jump perfectly to make it up here, get this box, and then if we push this and jump, then it will sometimes land in the perfect position for us to then jump up there and skip having to put on the cart, saving us some time. Sometimes that trick doesn't work and you just have to reset there, but we got lucky there and we can continue on. Now for this part, we have to move this, use some physics to be able to go a little bit higher. There's going to be this guy up at the top. We take care of him. We move this thing over. That gives us a big path so we can bring over this box, use that as some leverage, and make a jump all the way over to this cliff. Before there's just some water, we can jump off that guy though, get that final star, and we're good to go. Now for level 8, there's going to be this big plank which we have to push down. On the other side, it's going to be another one of these dudes with the helmet, and they also, when they see you, they charge at you, so you do have to keep track of that. Finally, there's just one more of these enemies, and then there's going to be this hammer. I guess it wasn't just one more because there's that dude too, but we use the hammer to knock him off, and that's kind of sad. And finally, for the end of this level, all we have to do is bring this box over to the left. That way we put on the cart, and we can use that combination to move the box over that small hill. And finally, there's going to be this windmill, and all you have to do for this one is just go on the windmill, jump, get that star, and go on it one more time. That way we can make it to the end. Leading us to level number 9, right away there's one person we can kill just by falling off a cliff. Pretty sad for him. And we can move that plank over. That way we can actually bring the box. And yeah, pretty simply just bringing the box over there, jumping on top of it. That way we can actually get that enemy before we go up top. And then we use the box as the leverage we need. We see this thing, which we have to move it to the left. That way we lift up that plank. And after we do that twice, we can just make this jump, getting both those stars. There's going to be a couple of boxes on the ocean, and we have to jump through those. Again, kind of weird physics, but not the worst thing in the world. And finally finish out that level with that little jump. Now for level 10, we have to aim this pretty perfectly where we want to jump into the star and still get on top of that. It's a little bit difficult, but normally you can get it. We can knock that guy in the water. We use the box to actually be able to go through the water. We get through this huge wheel, and then if we do this fast enough, we'll make this cycle where right away we can just continue on. And there's going to be a couple of these enemy dudes that are on these planks, but if we have the right cycle, we can just jump straight to them, kill them, take their stars, and we're good to go. Now for level 11, we want to knock this box into the ocean and make sure I don't also fall into the ocean. Sometimes that does happen. And I do want to wait this guy out because basically we need this guy to be on the plank so our box won't just completely kill us and we can knock him into there, just smush him to death. Pretty sad way to die. Before doing a loop-de-loop where all we do is take that star, and now we're on to level 12, where for this one, right away, it's going to be another one of these carts. We can bring this up the cliff, and we have to bring it all the way up. That way we can then jump up here, grab that star, and go again. There's going to be a boulder over here and a person that we can smush. Of course, we're always going to smush the people with the boulders, and we actually got 2 people with it that time. Then after that, there's just going to be these weird systems where we have these planks go up and down. I don't know who designed this, but it's very interesting. And we finally kill off that guy. Only a few more levels in this first world, and for level 13, we want to knock into this guy right away. That way he goes to the right and it saves us some time. Then we can come up to this top path. We can move this cart over, and we want to use physics by staying on the left side so it can actually make it over there. There's going to be this dude with the hat. Of course, we just have to hit him twice, and one of these planks which you can move over by hitting this wheel thing. So I will do that twice, be able to get all those stars. And there's going to be a dude on the water on a box. We have to aim ourselves perfectly to be able to hit him. And now we're on level 14, where we have one of these carts, and I want to aim my jump right about there so I can make it through. We can move this plank over, that way we can get the boulder to make it through. And there's also going to be a star on top of that, so that will be important too. But with the boulder, we take out the person with the hat, and there's going to be 2 more people, which I want to aim myself, be able to hit them, and I am going to be pretty precise about this. Sometimes you can just jump on them twice in a row, but sometimes that will kill you because of the game's physics. So now we're on to the boss. And for the boss, to speed this up, we can actually get hit multiple times instead of having to wait for him to roll over and finally die right there, because instead of at the beginning of the fight, it spawns us at the middle. So it will save us time because now we have full health again. And for this part, we're going to want to defeat these enemies and again get hit by the boss. Now this time there will be 2. We just destroy both of those guys, get hit by the boss, that way it speeds it up. Then for the third one, he's going to bring out these guys with the hats, and just the same old thing where I just want to take both of those guys out. And now he's going to go into this jumping form. There's no way to speed this part up by hitting him, so there's no point in doing it anymore. And all we have to do is just go under him. Then we can hit him once, we can do it a second time, and then we just have to do it a third time. So pretty easy stuff for this boss, and that's going to be the first world done, but there's still 4 more. So we will go straight over there, over to the deep forest. It tries to get us to buy some merch. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but by the way, I have dropped some merch. It's some pretty cool stuff. It will be in the shop, EazySpeezy.com. I'm just saying if you are interested. But anyways, now it's time for the deep forest, and the cool thing about this one is it introduces a lot more of these trees which we can go on, which are going to be really long, and we have to use them to our advantage. Pretty much like everything in the game. I don't even know why I said that. It's pretty obvious, but this is going to be a lot more of a vertical level because of the trees. There's also going to be these saws, and those are a one-hit kill, so we absolutely have to make sure that we can't get hit by them, otherwise it would be a very bad thing. But I will take out those guys. That will be pretty easy. We can do a jump through there, make sure we get all the stars. And then for this next level, level 18, there's going to be a couple of guys on the ground, and now there's also going to be buttons, which when we press that, it's going to open up a gate, so you do have to hit the button before you get to the gate. Then we can do a big jump. There's going to be a person at the end. There's going to be a star I missed. We don't have to talk about it. And there's going to be this part where there's a saw, and I want to time this thing right with that saw so we don't actually get hit by it. And the saw actually will destroy the wood too, so you have to make sure that doesn't happen. But now for level 19, it starts out right away with a person we want to kill. There's a couple of jumps and a couple of stars we get. We do a jump over this ocean. It's another one of these bridges, which are kind of weird physics, but really not the worst thing in the world. And a lot of time in this level, you want to make sure you make the jump to the top first. Like if I didn't make that jump right there, we couldn't have made it back up to the stars. So that is something important. Then for the final part of this level, all I have to do is make my jumps, hit these people. We'll hit that guy, go over to the left, get some more momentum, be able to get that dude, and finally make one more jump, hit that button. That's going to open up the gate, and we're good. So now for level 20, it's going to be all of these platforms which move back and forth, and I want to time that one pretty well. Then we get this boulder, and what I actually want to do instead of going straight right is go to the left first. That way I will have enough momentum, because if you don't do that, it won't have enough speed to actually be able to make it up that cliff. And there's going to be a person over here. Of course, just like usual for these people, we're going to be smushing them. Pretty sad way to die, but also not really my problem. And then I'm going to move over that button. We can do a jump through there, get a couple of stars. There's there's going to be one more person here. Of course, take him out too. And for level 21, we want to take the bottom path first. I always kind of forget if you want to take the top or bottom path for this one, but this one is going to be a bottom path. That way we can take out the people. And by the way, I haven't even mentioned the ninja guys who will go through. They actually jump. And yeah, I guess they've been showing up a lot, but that is something to keep track of, making sure you don't hit them when they jump and they actually damage you instead of you damage them. Something to think about. But for the final end part of this, there's just going to be these normal guys. I'm going to wait, make sure I can get both of them along with the stars. And then level 22 for this one, we see another one of these ninja guys. We'll go through, take them out twice. And now we have these buttons, which you actually have to hold. So these are going to be timed buttons. You have to hold them for long enough. That way they get out all the way. And if you're not fast enough, then the platform you moved is actually going to go away. So with that, we're now moving over this block, just doing some normal puzzle solving stuff. And down here, there's going to be two different buttons we have to hit. These ones won't be timed, so I have all the time in the world, but we are speedrunning, so we don't really. And then I can just make a jump using those guys. Level's complete, which puts us on level 23 with this guy. It's going to be another dude, which we just kill right away. This game really loves these really easy enemies to kill, and I kind of feel bad for them, but I'm trying to speedrun, so I can't feel too bad for them. And we make a big jump over there, and now there's going to be this kind of like racing part where it's going to be one of these timed buttons. We want to put it up all the way, and then we just go left and right. I say it's like a race. It's not really like a race because there's almost no way for you to lose. I guess you can get hit right there, which is kind of losing, but we can take out the ninja, get our revenge. And then for this part, I want to make sure I move that platform. That way we have the left side down, and then we can actually make this jump, finally make one more, and make it to the end. So just a little tiny important thing. So for level 24, what I actually want to do at the beginning is restart because I want to get all my health back up to max. That's just kind of important, and it's really not the biggest time loss. But with this, we're going to create a saw that just destroys all of those people. I kind of feel bad for them, but they were just chilling. They were just doing their ninja things. We use a saw. It actually got rid of them. Sometimes the buzz saw isn't going to hit them, and it's kind of annoying. Like they can actually jump over the saw, and then you have to kill them yourself, or you have to wait. And yeah, we just like it much better when the saw actually does its job. Now for right here, after those buttons, there's just going to be a couple of people that I want to take out. I'm going to take a fairly slow path because this has been a very good run and I don't want to waste it. Now for level 25, we actually use this guy's help. He's going to hit the button for us, and to say thank you, we go straight up to him and we murder him. Yeah, I'm a very thankful person, you know, it's just kind of who I am. But after that, for this puzzle, all we have to do is make those jumps, come to this lower platform. That way we can jump from there. There's going to be another guy. That guy almost hit me. And for here, you want to move over that circle, but not too fast because we want to be able to make it over to this plank, move it over so the log can actually make it through, and then get to the end ourselves. Now for 26, we are going to be pressing on this button, obviously all the way. And that's the entire first part of this level. All you have to do is that. Then we hit that button. It's going to open up one of those gates. And we have this part where it's these guys which are going to swing back and forth. And I actually had to wait this time because we didn't get that first star. Not the biggest deal in the world. We can then come through, get the next star, be able to make our jumps, make some jumps, make sure you stay the top path. Otherwise, we couldn't get back up there, and then take out this guy, which now you see there are these hole things. And with those holes, you actually only have to take out one of the enemies from the hole. So we did at the beginning. That means we don't have to take out that other guy since we already got 100%. Otherwise, they would just come out forever and it wouldn't really make sense because, you know, you could never 100% the level. But it is important because there are a couple of situations like that. But with that, we just have to dodge all of those saws. We have to hit that button. We then hit that guy, pretty easy, and come down here where there's going to be two of these ninja guys. We take them out like normal, just jump on their heads twice. And over towards the end, there's going to be this dude, which I want to take out. And the next guy is going to come through one of those hole things. So we don't have to take out that dude at all. All we have to do instead is just kind of wait out this stuff, be able to make it over there. I actually almost messed up my jump because of the momentum. That could have been very bad, but now we're on to level 28 with this one. It's going to be some more of these string bridges. We have to jump through there, hit that button. Then from here, there's going to be a couple enemies. I can just drop into them, use their momentum to actually be able to hit up and get those stars. There's going to be a ninja guy on the other side of that, take him out like normal. And this part is kind of annoying because we want to aim this log so it actually gets on this swinging bridge. And I actually did that perfect that time. Sometimes I do mess it up, so I'll take it. Then for level 29, we have this one, which this can be a very annoying level. So first you want to move this log over to the left, and then we want to move it to the right, but aim it correctly. And now not like that. Okay, as I was saying, we want to aim it correctly where it's not going too fast. That way we can jump on the top of it and make it up here. Then we can just wait for the log to slowly go over to the right. That's going to open up the button for us. Then from here, there's just a couple of people to kill and a couple of stars to get before we then come down here where there is going to be this button. It is pretty easy to take out. We can then jump up there, get some momentum, be able to hit the other button, which I almost also actually missed that. That could have been bad. And we take out one of these ninjas. For the second one, we can use him for his height to actually make it up here. These people, I'm so mean to them. But now it's time for the boss. And the bosses always do change up what exactly they do. For this one, he slams into the ground and then he brings out these saws. The first saw, pretty easy stuff. All I do is jump over it twice. And then I want to jump in the air, be able to hit him. That way, just like last time, we don't have to wait for him to move across the whole stage and can speed it up. Now this time, instead of one saw, there's going to be two. Still doesn't increase the difficulty too much. We just jump over both of them. Then we can jump into our boy. That's going to stop him. He'll slam into the ground. We get another piece of hit. And again, more saws. And this time, one more time where we jump into the boy. And this time we're actually going to die because just like last time, we want to have full health. Because now there's going to be these guys which jump into the stage. I have to hit them twice and then I jump into our boy. That way he doesn't go across the whole stage, just like last time. Now for this dude, I'm actually going to aim him. That way he bounces off of the dude. I can hit him sooner and then I can hit into the main boss guy sooner, just speeding us up a tiny bit. Now we get one more of these enemies and just like last time, I want to aim him right about there. Then I'm actually going to die. That's going to be our last death for this boss, but that's just going to refill all of our health. That way we can use that trick again. But for this first time, I'll just let him go. We hit him right there. We hit into him, which I actually, I thought I messed that up for a second, but we do that again. We hit into him one more time and we take him out. That's another boss done, which that's going to be the entirety of World 2. And now we're on to Box Factory. And I love the aesthetic of this level, just how it looks. But right away, like usual, we're going to the right. I mean, that's pretty normal for Red Ball 4. And we take care of an enemy. We get a couple of those stars. And now we get these lasers. And just like the saws, if we get hit by them, they will be a one-hit kill. So we do not want to get hit by the lasers at all. The game is just going to expand on that feature more and more. For this one, I have to make my jump over there, hit a couple of these guys. I can actually hit them twice in a row. And then we'll make a big jump over here where there's going to be this moving laser. And sometimes you can make that cycle. We played it a little bit safe. So I will just wait this out, go in that part, and then we can use the blocking of the different terrain to make sure the laser doesn't hit us and we can go forward. Now for level 33, we start this one out with a jump. There are going to be a couple of enemies on these different places which I can just jump off of and get all those stars. And there's going to be these moving platforms which is trying to move you backwards. Right after that, there's going to be a laser. We have to jump over there and just barely be able to beat out the laser. That was a little bit too close for comfort, but that's fine. And now we have some moving platforms which are actually moving us to the right. And these new enemies, these robot guys, they'll explode and they're also an insta-kill if you're too close to them. So I do have to be very careful for those guys, making sure that they don't just destroy me. But pretty good level, all things considered for that one. There's going to be another one of these moving platforms. There's going to be these guys who are trying to move to the right and then they're like, wow, this is awful. So they stop for a second before continuing. Honestly, I might do the same thing. That looks exhausting. But now we have some more of these lasers, which we have to use the terrain to not get hit by. We can go over to the right, then move to the left, be able to make it through the rest of that part of the level. We get one of these robots. I don't want to stay by him, so he'll explode me. So we do have to get a perfect jump there onto level 36, where it has a platform that moves us forward. Another one which we can take. There's going to be this robot. I want to be pretty careful with this robot, make sure he doesn't explode me before we actually go back and get that star. Then there's going to be a button we can sit on. That's going to move this platform down so we can actually make that jump. And finally finish out 100% for that level. Now for 37, for this one, I just like jumping on these two guys' heads and they'll actually explode into each other. So you do have to be kind of careful with that. These things really like to crush you. Another insta-kill if you're not careful. It kind of is funny how this game sort of gets rid of the heart system. It's like, yeah, you do have 3 hearts, but here's a bunch of things that will just kill you right away. Makes sense though, because I mean, if you get crushed, obviously you're not going to survive. Now for 38, there's going to be another button, which we have to move over this platform and we just have to move it enough so it actually covers that last star. That way we can then make that jump over to the right, chill on here for a second so I can get all those stars. There's going to be an enemy after that. There's going to be these stairs we want to go down, then another jump, and that could have went very badly. I got kind of lucky with that. But now there's going to be these lasers. I want to make sure I don't die to those, just using the terrain to my advantage. we're kind of chilling here for a second until we can finally go. Then for 39, some more of these crushing platforms, and we actually have to use this guy, jump off of him and just barely miss that star, but this time jump off of him so we can actually get that star, then go forward with that stuff. There's going to be this enemy which we can jump on top of. Then right here by the checkpoint, I actually can make that, but yeah, that was kind of stupid. I should have just waited because I kind of stood still for a sec. It was not my best thing in the world, but thankfully we did have the checkpoint. And this is a really hard jump where you have to get enough momentum to jump off that guy's head. So third time is the try. We have to get that momentum. That jump is really hard, so I honestly don't mind dying to it a couple of times. And then for 40, we have this laser, which we can move over to the right by pressing this button. And we want to wait till about right there, just barely dodge that laser so we can get through, and that was very close. But now we have these, which these buttons will get the things to crush us, come down on us. It would be us causing our own deaths if we did get hit by those, but thankfully we are good. We make it past a robot. Now for 41, another one of these laser puzzles. They just really love these lasers in this level. I mean, to be fair, that is what the level is about, or at least one of the big things. Then with here, there's going to be this ball, and what we can do is try to move it. It's being very annoying right now, but we'll move it. We'll get it to hit that robot, so it'll just explode that. It keeps us safe. And then we can move it on that button, but be able to make it over here fast enough so we can also take this platform and also get all of those stars so we can make it to the end. Then for 42, there's only a couple more in this world, so I do want to be careful with these. And you also can't stand on those platforms for too long because they will collapse, but it doesn't really matter for us since we're speedrunning. There's all these crushing things which go one by one. I don't know how Red Ball 4 is still smiling through all this stuff. This would be terrifying, but we use that ball to block that laser. We get this robot to come over here. I just like doing one of those moves to make sure I can survive, and we're good to go. Another robot which I have to jump over, and thankfully we were just far enough away, so I only did 2 hearts of damage instead of 3. That was way too close for comfort, but we can use this ball and use the momentum from that thing to be able to get it all the way over there. We can crush that guy with the ball and also stop the laser by putting it on there. And we have to get a lot of momentum here so we can actually jump off these robots so they don't explode into us. And yeah, that was a very close level. A lot of things could have went badly, but I'm happy for it. And right after that, we might as well restart so we can get full health. Now for this one, we're going to use this guy's help to actually get that button and then murder him. All these people are trying to help me and I just don't care at all. That's just the life of Red Ball. But then we get this guy which we want to push over to the right. There's going to be a robot. I want to be careful not to die to him. He's just kind of accepting his death at this point. But we can use that to hit that button. That's going to get rid of the laser. And finally, time for this boss. Which this is an interesting guy because he's very spiky, but we can still hit him. Like, the spikes don't matter. But he's going to try to crush us. We go over to him. We hit him once. He's going to go crush again. It's the exact same thing where we just dodge all the crushing stuff, hit him, and then for one more time, he's going to send all those things down. We're going to go straight up to his face, hit him one more time. That's the first 3 health. But then after that, we get this phase where he's just completely gone. And now we just have to dodge all these crushing things. Now, thankfully, since I've played this game a lot, I know what to do. All you have to do is start over at the left, then go over to the right a little bit, and go over to the right one more time, and we can just chill here. We are never going to get crushed in this spot now, so I don't have to worry about anything. And then after all those things do their thing, this guy comes back, but this time we can't hit him normally, and we have to use his own robots against him. So I'm going to send the robot over, that hits him, and does a ton of damage. And we're just going to repeat this 3 times. So here's going to be the second robot. We just jump over it. And finally, with the third robot, we jump over it one more time. That's going to 100% complete the level, and we're good to go. We are now on to battle for the moon. In this stage, the cube guys turn the moon from a circle to a square, so we got to fix that. And it will have moon physics, so it is a little bit floatier and all that stuff. But just at the beginning, like usual, we're moving to the right, I guess a little bit to the left this time, because it will be another one of these more vertical levels, especially with the moon gravity, and then we make it to the portal to end each level, rather than just making it to the end of a stage. Now for level 47, we do a jump right at the beginning. There's going to be this square full of stars, and in a lot of these levels, there's a ton of collectibles. Like here, we already have like 6 of them, and we're not even a third of the way through. Then we make it over here, there's going to be a couple of these lasers, which we have to jump over. Those are pretty easy obstacles to get through. This level in general is just a pretty long one. There isn't too much difficulty behind it, but there will be some very difficult moon levels as we do go through. So at the end, I just have to make it over to the portal and get every single one of those stars. Then for 48, we're moving to the right, and there is going to be all these different platforms and a couple of these cube guys, which we got to take care of. So first of all, I will jump on that guy. move over to the right, getting all those stars, and then get the second one. Then we can just go backwards a little bit so we get the remaining stars before moving over to the right, and there's going to be this platform that's moving. We will have to wait out that cycle just a little bit, and here is kind of a difficult jump, or at least it's one you have to be careful about because it's easy to just jump straight into the lasers like I did right there. Thankfully, we do have a checkpoint right here, so it wasn't too bad. We just gotta jump over it, not have that happen. And then we go over here, we're just gonna make a couple more of these jumps. It's just going back and forth with the moon gravity, finally getting that guy. We can do one more jump in between all of these lasers, make sure we don't die to those, and make it straight to the portal. Then for level 49, you have to be very careful with this level, not to be going too much to the right. Then there's gonna be this enemy, and for this guy, we have to jump over him and also grab that star before then going over to the right side, and you can actually turn off these lasers. So I will take that and also take one of those stars. Then we come back over to the left because there will be a couple more of these stars we can get before coming straight back to the right, getting that last star, and now we can continue on to the right. There's going to be another one of these moving platforms, and actually 3 of them that we have to deal with, but this is a pretty easy section. All we have to do is jump from the lower ones to the higher ones, making sure to get all the stars. So finally, right at the top, I will take that. There's going to be this enemy, which we take care of him, then we go down to turn off that laser, and then we just have to do a couple of jumps to make it over to this yellow portal. So for 50, this one is just fully a falling level. Like, we fall, but we just have to make sure that we are able to keep track of everything, and pretty easy level once you know what to do. Then for 51, they introduce a new type of enemies, which is going to be these electrified cube guys. So what you have to do is you can't hit them directly because they will electrify you, but you can get them to use their move twice. The first time, it's going to do a bit of damage to them, and then the second time, it just murders them. So they literally sacrifice their lives to try to kill us. But like most things in this game, it will be a one-hit kill, so we do have to be careful about it. We'll take out that guy right there. We also get that timer thing going, which is going to turn off the lasers for a set amount of time, so I do have to be fast right there. But we can finally make it over to the end, get all those remaining stars. And now for 52, right away, because I did get damaged, we might as well go and restart the level just to make sure we have hearts. It's going to be one of these sections where there's a couple of those timers to turn off the lasers. Then we get to this guy where we just have to destroy him by getting him to use his powers twice. These guys just can't help themselves. They're filled with so much hate that they just can't stop themselves from dying just to try to deal with me, and it doesn't even work. Yeah, kind of a sad existence. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead, make this jump all the way over to the left to just be able to land in the portal, and that's good to go. Then for 53, there are these moving platforms which move up and down, and we also have to deal with all of these enemies, so I'm going to get a ton of momentum to actually be able to make it through that. We can also jump through that last one, and once we make it over here, there's going to be one of these electrifying guys. Unfortunately, I can't go a bit faster through him, but we deal with him. There's going to be another guy over here. We'll get him to use his laser once, jump up into the air, he'll use it a second time, and now we get these up arrows. And how these things work is they'll give you some momentum in the upwards direction. So we have to use those to be able to make it through all this stuff. I just barely was able to clip that one. That was very close. But finally, we make it to this one, and I do not have enough height, so I do have to go a little bit to the left, but there we go. Now for 54, this one is fun because we have more electric dudes, and all we're going to do for them is jump over them once and then go over to the left, jump over that guy, go over to the right. They deal with themselves. We don't even have to worry about it, and we make it over here. Where right away, I like dying just so we can speed up this cycle, because as soon as we die, we'll see the platform is already coming back. And for this one, I do want to be very careful with using these timers and making sure we don't die to this laser. It's very easy to die to that. Then we have to be very fast to be able to get all those stars and also get the returning lasers to get turned off. It tells us the exit is over there, so we got to make a super big jump all the way there, get a couple of those high up, and we make it to the end. Then for 55, some more of these arrows, which are going to give us some extra speed. And this time the speed is a lot easier to use because we're pretty much just going in a straight direction until we make it over here where I want to go off to the right just a little bit. That way I can get some extra speed. You could just sit there forever and just slowly get more speed, but that is way faster. And finally at the end, we have one of these loop-de-loops, which is always a fun time, so I like it. Then for 56, we're going to the right away, and then we get these things, which are a new type of arrows which change our gravity. So we can use it right here, and we want to get a bunch more speed. So every time we change our gravity, we'll get more momentum in one direction, so we can go back and forth until finally we come over here. That's going to give us enough speed to actually make it over there. We can turn off that light, we can turn back our gravity, then we can come over here, but before we go in that portal, we want to make sure we get those 2 remaining stars, and we're good to go. Then for 57, it's going to give us these arrows again. I do want to be fairly careful about those, and for these ones, sometimes you do want to jump into the arrows, and sometimes you don't, just for speed's sake. For these ones, we have just enough momentum without jumping that we can make it through. So just a little bit of a time save. Now for 58, it's some more arrow levels, but it's arrow levels combined with these electric guys. So I do want to be careful that I'm not arrowing myself to death. And I do want to be just making sure that none of that happens. Anyways, we'll deal with those guys. We go through, there's going to be this arrow, which changes our gravity. We'll get all of these dudes. Then these jumps are kind of specific to make. You don't want to have too much speed, otherwise you're just going to ram straight into them. But we made it through those. That was nice and easy. It gives us a convenient arrow telling us where to go. So we change our gravity. And then to finish out this level, all we got to do is jump over one more of those arrows, get a couple of stars, and make it to the end. Now, finally, for 59, this level can be very annoying because it's hard to get the perfect amount of speed, but you do need to. That looked pretty good, but we need to keep our momentum, and I should have hit back. This is honestly one of the levels that I kind of just expect to die to, because especially when you're this far into the run and it's been a while since you've played this level, it's really hard to get it correct. But second try, I will take that. Then we can just come over to the right, get our gravity changed, take that checkpoint because we might as well, especially because this level really likes murdering you. And we can get our portal working. Then all we have to do is come back in this direction, just taking these, making sure we're good. And it tells us the boss is right here, so we're able to go. Which of course, this is going to be an electrifying boss or a blue boss or whatever it wants to be. Anyways, it is just going to keep changing gravity, but just like normal, what I have to do is just knock into it a couple of times. And I guess this guy doesn't really actually use electricity. He more just uses the gravity changes. But then he uses his electricity powers because he brings out these lasers which come from each side. And yeah, we just have to go in the right places. There's always going to be a safe area to go. So like right here, I'm going to move to the right, and that laser also slowly does that. After that laser makes it over there, they're going to start moving to the left, so I can do that too. And yeah, you kind of get the gist of it. It's not very difficult. These parts where you have to move in between them is the most difficult, but still, that is not that bad. And finally, the lasers will leave us, so we're good to go for that part, which means the boss is going to come back. And of course, he's deciding that he's going to be jumping around. So all I have to do for this is just dodge the jumps. He's going to change gravity, and we continue doing this. Again, it's one of these places where knocking into him won't actually speed it up, so I don't worry about that. I just worry about getting in my hits. We can do that one right there. We get put back on the ceiling, and we just got to do it one more time, which, yeah, all things considered, very good boss right there. I will definitely take that. So that's going to be the moon. We turn it back into a circle, and now it's time for Into the Caves, the very last world. These levels are fun because now we're completely in a cave system, so we got to deal with a more cramped space. It's also very nice to not have the moon gravity anymore. Though I do like the moon gravity, it can be annoying, but we do right away get our brand new type of enemy, which is that guy who explodes. And if any of those things, if any of his spiky things hit you, they do a hit of damage, and you have no invulnerability frames, and if you hit him, then you just lose your entire life. So kind of a scary enemy. But for 62, we'll start out by going to the left. There will be some spikes. We got to bait out this guy by jumping over him. There's going to be another one over to the right. And yeah, for the most part, I just try killing them as soon as possible. That way I can go past them afterwards. But after all those people are done with, we have to jump up here. There are going to be a couple of enemies. I can jump on this guy first. Then the second guy is going to come over. We'll also take him, get that star to get it fully completed, and grab a key. That way we can open the locked door and actually head deeper into the caves. Now for 63, there are going to be 2 different locked doors this time, and also a bunch of these spiky guys. So I want to activate one, then I come right to this spot, and usually you only get hit once or twice if you're in that spot, so it's probably the safest area to be, but there's really no truly safe area. There's just a bunch of spikes falling everywhere. But that's going to get us the blue key, and now with that one we can come down into this area where there's going to be another spiky guy. I want to jump up here and completely mess up my jump, but we do spawn back right here. Not the biggest deal. Anyways, as I was saying, we want to jump up there. It is not that hard of a jump to hit. Be able to bait him out so he will die. Then we can go and grab the key, and all we have left for this level is going to be these stars. So I do want to line myself up, grab both of those, and then we can head deeper into the cave. 64 is next, and now it's going to give us this cart. At the beginning, we want to move it to the left so we can actually go inside of it. Then we can move it while we're inside of there, get that key, and be able to avoid all those spikes which are on the ground. After that, there's going to be those 3 stars which I want to grab. Then I come over to the left. There's going to be that spiky guy over there, so we do want to bait him out, and I'm just going to run at this point. I really don't want to lose any health. Maybe went a bit farther than I needed to for that one, but better safe than sorry. That allows us to grab those stars and get the green key, so we come right down here. And for this one, I want to be very fast. I want to grab the key and go to the right before any of those spikes can hit me. That was perfect, and we make it to the end. Then for 65, it's another cart one, so I'm going to move it over to the right, be able to get just enough momentum to be able to make it go over there. Then we knock it over. That way we can actually go through those spikes. There's going to be this poor enemy. Unfortunately, he's very much dead, but we needed to do that to get that key. Then we can come over there, make that jump to get the remaining star, come over to the left, and there's going to be this guy at the bottom. So I like baiting him out right away because we don't have to deal with him later. And then there's going to be this dude. We want him to go over there. Then we can jump on this spot. And okay, he didn't actually get activated. Okay, that's really strange. Usually he does get activated, but that was way too close for comfort. I probably should have just waited that out, and that wouldn't have been a problem at all. But we do get the green key. We get the yellow one next, and we can actually go deeper. I need to not make these chances. Now for 66, right away, there's going to be a cart that's chasing after us with tons of spikes on it. But thankfully, if we just go to the right, we'll just barely be able to survive. We can jump up there, get the key, and we're good to go. Then for 67, now we get these ladders, and these are pretty simple. They just allow us to go vertically. So pretty cool thing. We can use that to get the blue key. Then there's going to be this dude who wants to explode. I allowed that to happen so I don't get hit. Then a couple of these green keys, I'm going to grab every single one of them. I don't care. And then we can make it through there because we don't have to deal with those dudes. I did make sure in the top right, I did get the points for them as well, because we do want to make sure we actually 100% complete, obviously. But after that, all we have to do is make it over that hill. Good to go. Then 68, right away, there's this blue bridge, but we can't press that key just yet. First of all, we have to get rid of that dude. Then we can jump over the key and grab this green key. Before then coming back, we can grab the blue key and actually jump through there. So it isn't a problem at that point. Now, there are going to be a bunch of these spiky dudes who all very much want to murder me, so I will go pretty far away just to dodge those spikes, especially because I only have 2 health. Kind of mess up on the ladder there. We don't have to talk about it, but I can grab that blue key, then come through there. I want to activate that dude. Thankfully, they can't use the ladder like we can. And then I can jump up here, grab that, activate that dude, let those things go away, go back up the ladder, and all we have to do for this level is grab the gold key and make it over to the exit. Nice and easy. Now for 69, right away, we want to come over to the left, and we're going to grab a couple of these stars. Then we have to move this cart, do one of those jumping things so it actually has enough speed. We can bring it over to the right, and I want to make sure it hits these guys, which it actually missed the first dude. So I'm going to try to bait them out, and that was terrible. Okay, this time I'm going to be a little bit more careful, kind of wait for him just to make sure I can actually get that. And I believe that killed the other person as well. So now we can move our car over to the right, and definitely could have been better, but it is what it is. I go collect all that stuff. We see the gold key we need to get, and we can use some ladders to get it. But of course, there's another spiky guy. They really like using these spiky guys. So I come over here, and normally you only get hit by 2 things. Thankfully, it's not 3. Otherwise, I don't know where I would go. But we do take that key, and we can go down. Now for 70, right away, I'm going to restart the level. And then this one is mainly just a speed one. You want to be fast, but not too fast, because we don't actually want to hit the spiky guys, but we do have to dodge all of their things. That was terrifying, but thankfully we got through them. We can grab that, grab the yellow key as well. That brings us straight to the bottom. Only a few more levels in this game, and now they're going to introduce these laser guys, which are going to shoot those things at us. And before I could get that star, we did have to make it away from him before going back and grabbing it. But yeah, they're just going to be constant lasers coming out, or I guess they aren't really lasers, whatever they are, projectiles. And we just have to dodge them. They do come in a uniform timing, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. They're not too hard to deal with, but then I got to make it through that dude. We will get hit right there. Doesn't really matter because I'm almost at the end of the level. I'll take all the stuff, back down. Then for 72, because we did get hit, might as well restart again. And for this one, we got a couple of these. By the way, quick shout out to Maximum. A few years ago, I did an any percent speedrun for just Red Ball 4 Volume 1, and Maximum helped you with that. Great YouTuber if you want to see more stuff on Flash games. Link will be in the description. Then we'll come over to the right. There's going to be a bunch of these guys. That was, what am I doing? Okay, that was a very quick reset, at least. Like, it barely lost any time, but that was just such a stupid idea. You know what? Actually, I just wanted to regain my health. That's what I was doing, is then I get hit again. Look, it's almost at the end of the level, you know, you're starting to get antsy and all that, but we can just finish out this one by coming over to the left. There we go. Then for 73, of course, another reset. And this one has a ton of gates that we have to get. This first one is going to be past all of these projectiles. So at first, I'll just kind of go slowly. We take that green key, and then I want to go in between those projectiles, just barely be able to make it. Before we come up here, we can get a couple stars. We can aggro one of the enemies, and then he's going to hit me twice with 2 of his spikes, but not the biggest deal, as long as we can just do this perfectly. Especially because for this level, there are no checkpoints. So now if we do die, it's just over for us. And because of that, I'm going to play this fairly safe. We got a couple of these projectiles. We'll make it past them. Then we just have to go back. I'm not going to rush this at all. Just make my jumps and finally go down. That was scary. But now 74, last regular level before we make it to the boss. And this time we want to come over to the left, grab a couple of those stars and grab the key. And there'll be projectiles on both sides. So what you want to do is just switch between which side you're going up with the ladder. And we can also grab those stars. Finally, when we make it up there, we're good. Now we got this part, and this is one of my least favorite parts of this game because these guys are so annoying to dodge. We want to come over there first, do that, and I could have survived that. Okay, I died a second time too, but third time is always the time which I get it correctly. I'm just hopefully not going to get hit again. Why could that have not just happened the first time? Still though, at least we got all the keys. Now we can finally go over to the boss. And this is our very last level where we got this huge spiky guy. So obviously we can't hit him directly. And what I want to do is use these ladders, go up it like that. Then I can go to the right. You can see that we can drop a boulder on this dude's head. He gets very injured, and we just repeat that. So we'll go over here, drop a boulder the second time, go back up on the ladder. That way we can dodge him. And here's going to be the third boulder, which is nice. And then as that's happening, as he's still moving, I want to come back over to the left. And right away, he's going to jump to the middle. I can hit him with that immediately. Then he's going to start jumping up so we can go underneath him and we can just repeat this. There are going to be the projectiles which do come out, but finally I come up here, we destroy him, and there we go. Now after all that, our girlfriend Red Ball does come out. She's very happy that we saved her. Yeah, that's the story for these levels, by the way, but we still do have to get all of these keys. Thankfully, we saved a bunch of our health, so we get it right there. And as soon as we see the screen going away, I'll call time 47:59, which is third place on the speedrun leaderboards, so I'll take it. All right, subscribe if you enjoyed. Bye.